See that? Barely moving. All right, this is a perfect example of people in the South not having a clue how to drive on bad roads. This is freaking ridiculous. They have no concept of keeping your momentum up so that you can make it up a hill. The roads here, without a question, you know, we had a storm, you know, a snowstorm, and we got icy roads, and there are definitely icy patches that are really slick, really slick. I mean, it's yep, this happens in the wintertime up north all the time. And I remember as a little kid, my first car was a 1975 Chevy Nova, and I went everywhere. Everywhere, you know. I mean, you just let a little air out of your tires and you go. The roads are almost never impassable, but you got to know how to drive. And people down here, man, it's a real problem because they're so scared. They drive far too slow, and they'll stop right in the middle of a hill at a red light instead of rolling through it, you know, so they can keep their momentum up and keep on going. Nope, they stop for the red light because they don't know anything different. They're like so scared to run a red light, but then they end up getting stuck, and they get stuck right there, and the frustration of it is, well, just absurd. Now, yeah, granted, I probably take a little bit too many risks, and it's quite possible that someday I'm going to wreck because of it, but I will have at least covered 800 more miles than they have before I wreck, because they drive stupid slow. And a lot of people down here drive real slow anyways. You know, it's kind of like their style, you know, kind of like the lowriders or something, even though they're not in the lowrider. They're just used to that style of driving slow. But what I'm seeing here in Atlanta, this is the worst I've ever seen the roads down here, aside from our real big ice storm that we got about 6 years ago or 7 years ago, something like that. But they're not impassable. I'm in a freaking two-wheel drive truck that has almost all of its weight over the front wheels, so the back wheels are not, you know, they're not getting any traction. Plus, the back tires on this truck are almost as bald as boiled onions and slick, you know. I mean, just anyways, I want to say people in the South figure it out, learn how to drive in snowy and icy conditions, but it'll never happen, you know. It just, and here we go again. I'm going uphill and everyone is slowing down because they're afraid of the icy condition, completely losing the momentum, and they'd be better off if they had just a little bit of speed so that they could make it up this hill. There we go, I'm spinning. Oop, going sideways. Which brings me to a little bit of a point of something that I have found that I don't like about this Dodge Ram, or this Ram 1500. The traction control. Traction control is for dummies. It really sucks. But you can turn that off. But even whenever you turn it off, right, which mine's off now, even whenever you turn it off, well, first I should say why I don't like traction control. I don't like traction control because as soon as you start to slip, it takes away power from the back tires, because it thinks that obviously you don't know what you're doing. But whenever it takes power away from the back tires, you again lose your momentum, and you can't make it up the hill. So I turn the traction control off. But even with the traction control off, and this is what I don't like about this Ram, even with the traction control off, as soon as you start to get sideways, right, as soon as you start to drift a little bit, there's a secondary control method that you cannot turn off. At least I haven't figured out how to turn it off. I'm certain that you can't. And that is, it starts hitting the brakes. It starts applying the brakes to straighten you out. And as soon as it starts to apply the brakes, again, you lose your momentum. And so here I am down in the South with a two-wheel drive truck that it has posi traction, but it's not true posi track. It's got a locker, and so whenever one wheel starts to spin, the other one locks up and turns. But it's not as good as a true locker because, for one, by the time you need it to lock up, you're kind of already screwed. And then whenever it does lock up, once you spin past like 20 miles per hour, it's no longer, it disengages. So anyways, just thought I'd share with you the woes of driving. Can you see the road there? It is bad, you know, it really is. But if you know how to drive, it's not that big of a deal. So the woes of driving in the South, having to deal with all the people around you not having a clue what to do. See, I'm going, look at that, I'm going 40 miles an hour over icy condition roads. A lot of times these people will just be in almost a dead stop. So anyways, but what can you do? All right, I'm here at Pull Apart, and please be open, please be open, please be open, please. Yes, they are open. All right, I have got to get a seat for Baby Blue, and hopefully they'll have something in here that will work all right. If they do, I'm gonna pull it and put it in the old C10. So anyways, I got here, two-wheel drive truck, really icy conditions on the road. And if I had any threat of getting stuck or wrecking, it was because people actually going too slow. The key to driving in icy conditions is to control your momentum. Anyways, see ya. Score. Check those out. Couple of nice captain's chairs from like a 89 or so Silverado or Cheyenne or Sierra, I don't know, but I'm pretty stoked. It's the exact style that I was hoping for, and I wasn't necessarily looking for captain's chairs because my wife Irene, she really wants, you know, she likes a bench seat. And, you know, I kind of do too. But, I'm not going to complain about captain's chairs. So, yay! Anyways, alright. Now I got to install them. See ya.